The Amazon Fire TV Stick dropped yesterday, and they ran an ad where they said explicitly, you don't need Xbox to play Xbox. That's right. You don't need Xbox to play Xbox. And so, of course, this has brought up the naysayers and brought out the naysayers and kicked up dirt and dust again around this topic. And I think the Game Pass strategy is correct. I think we're living through this transitionary time in gaming, unlike it's ever been. I think this is the biggest transition in gaming that we're currently living through. And I think Game Pass is the correct strategy going forward based on where we're at technology-wise, based on where we're at with how we consume all of our media via streaming services, for instance, and built for the future to take advantage of this technology and to grow and expand the market. I think Game Pass is the strategy there. Now, there are naysayers, and here's the thing. We're going to actually read an article today from the one and only Paul Tassi, who I think is a fabulous writer here. He brings up some concerns, and I don't think he's wrong to bring up those concerns. I think absolutely you should be aware of those concerns. I just think that the concerns are being answered as we speak. That anytime, I think these same concerns existed, for instance, when the internet first came about. Nobody's going to want to email. Who wants to email? What is this? The internet's just a fad. Nobody's going to want to stream their movies. The technology doesn't even exist yet to stream your movies through. Sure, you could get VHS quality through, but you're never going to be able to get a DVD quality. That's why DVDs will never go away. That's why Blu-ray discs will never go away. And now we're in 2024 and everybody streams. And you're able to get all those qualities. I think the same thing is happening with gaming, and I think Microsoft is actually leading that way. So let's go through the article here. You don't need an Xbox to play Xbox, Microsoft says plainly in new ad from the one and only Paul Tassi. Microsoft is launching a marketing campaign to debut the arrival of Xbox Game Pass on Amazon Fire Sticks. And that's come with a new ad that, for some reason, channels a scene from 1996 Scream. It really does. And that's actually the first thing I thought of when I saw this. Maybe they chose Scream because people of an age who fondly remember an almost 30-year-old movie are the target market here. People don't want to buy an Xbox, but may still want to play games. But the commercial says Microsoft's new philosophy plainly via the serial killer voice on the phone. So what happens is there's this girl, she's walking around her house, she's on her phone, she's looking out the window, and she gets a phone call. And on the phone call, it says right here, you don't need an Xbox to play Xbox. Excuse me. She hangs up, she locks the door, she goes downstairs or to her living room, and on the TV is her Amazon Fire Stick, and Xbox Game Pass is there, and she sits down and she plays the games. That's how the commercial goes. So on the phone call, a voice says, you don't need an Xbox to play Xbox. It's not exactly a new concept, but it shows just how hard Microsoft is leaning into the concept of freeing Xbox Game Pass from Xbox hardware. Yes, that's why you spend billions of dollars to go acquire game studios. You don't spend those billions of dollars to just sell hardware. You spend it because you're taking this new turn. You're going after this new strategy that is Game Pass, that is streaming games everywhere on multiple devices, not locked into just your hardware that you sell. So it's not exactly a new concept. Let me reread this, but it shows just how hard Microsoft is leaning into the concept of freeing Xbox Game Pass from Xbox hardware, which has resulted in hardware sales declines it doesn't seem to care about. I actually disagree with this premise. He's saying here that because Microsoft is leaning into the concept of freeing Xbox Game Pass from Xbox hardware, this has resulted in hardware sales declines it doesn't seem to care about. I disagree with that premise. Well, you might say, well, the reports show that the sales are declined. And yes, of course they're declined, but I don't think that's exclusively due to Game Pass. If it was due to Game Pass, the other console makers would not also be down. And what we see, in fact, is that yes, PlayStation is also down double digits year over year. Nintendo Switch is down double digits year over year, and so is Xbox. So all the console makers are down. We are at this true saturation of a console market, I think. This realignment, this correction of the market, and I don't think that is due to Game Pass at all. I think that's just where we're at. If it was due to Game Pass, I don't believe that you'd see. If it was due to Game Pass, you would see Xbox down. You would not necessarily see PlayStation or Nintendo down. And he's saying that the focus on Game Pass has resulted in hardware sales decline. I don't think that. So here's the part that I really want to get to in this article. I will go down my list of issues with this philosophy yet again. This idea that you don't need an Xbox to play Xbox games, that Game Pass is going to be the philosophy going forward. As I'm forever wondering about the long-term sustainability of this. Okay, so what's his first issue? The opportunity for continued large-scale growth of Xbox Game Pass continues to seem limited. The most obvious place players would subscribe is the console base. I think that's correct. But at this point, it is reaching saturation. The Game Pass subscriptions on console base is reaching saturation. And if not that many new units are being sold, that's limited growth. And if new units are sold, that will often be an Xbox One upgrading to a Series S or X, and that may simply be carrying over an existing subscription. So I think that Game Pass sales have slowed, yes, but Game Pass right now is, in all reality, the Fire TV example is the first large example of this. We're just at the beginning of Game Pass, this Game Pass shift. You don't need an Xbox to play Game Pass, but the best place to play Game Pass will be on an Xbox. That's, to be fair, that's actually the talking points. That's actually the strategy there. And we're just at the beginning of that. So of course there's going to be this transitionary period that we're in where it's seemingly limited growth that we've capped out. No, we just haven't yet fully adjusted. The Fire TV stick literally just dropped. That's 200 million new potential customers that Xbox and Game Pass just introduced themselves to. And with marketing and making sure that it works well and as advertised and cloud gaming continues to improve, those new customers are slowly going to come on board there. And you've opened yourself up to this new customer base, not limited just by consoles. It's a broader audience reach in all reality, but Game Pass is designed to go beyond the traditional console market by making Game Pass and gaming available on devices like the Amazon Fire Stick. That's just the reality, and we're just at the beginning of that. I think that there's global market expansion here that doesn't exist just in consoles. So there are emerging markets where consoles penetration is really low, but mobile penetration is high, as well as smart TVs are high. You now have an ability to reach those users that was incredibly difficult by having to ship, manufacture, come in compliance with physical hardware like an Xbox. The third thing here I think that is being missed is it is a difference. We're not focused on hardware anymore. And what that hardware can do, is that hardware better than your competitors? Does it run efficiently? What are the new features that the hardware enables? Instead, we're at content-driven growth. You have to continually add and pump out games and content in the same way that Netflix has to, in the same way that HBO Max has to, that Amazon Prime has to. You have to do that. And so that's the shift as well. And we're really just at the beginning of that. That's why Xbox went out and acquired all of these new studios. And as that gets ramped up, the potential for customers on an Amazon Fire TV stick to say, well, wait a minute, it's Christmas time. For my kids, I can go buy this $400 Xbox Series X or PlayStation 5, or I could play it on my Fire TV stick here. I could just subscribe to this and I get all these games. Done. That's an easy sell. I'm already subscribing to a million other things anyways. Why not just throw on Game Pass on top of that? So I just disagree. I don't think that we've reached saturation. I think that we're at this transitionary period, and for instance, like I said, we barely opened up Amazon Fire Stick. It's going to take time. We now have 200 million additional customers that you can get onto Game Pass. Let's go over his next concern here. His next concern is PC. PC is the second place where you can actually download the games on Game Pass rather than stream them. Excuse me, I'm going to take a drink of water here. My voice. I don't know what's happening. It's hot outside. Thank you. Apologies. All right, let's restart this. PC is the second place where you can actually download the games on Game Pass rather than stream them. But I also believe there's a limited audience of PC-only players who subscribe to this without also owning an Xbox and being counted in the first group. Maybe he's right. Right now, there's a limited audience, but anecdotally, I know 3 people who have never owned an Xbox that are PC gamers that subscribe to Game Pass Ultimate. 3 of them. Why? Because the value is undeniable. And this is why Microsoft is continuing to invest in PC exclusive type games. This is why it doesn't matter necessarily that there's not the Xbox first party exclusive out there. What does matter is that you get a City Skylines on Game Pass, that you get Civilization on Game Pass, that you get Uden Chronicles on Game Pass. And all of a sudden, what do? These guys that are on Steam and like, well, I could buy this for $49 or I can subscribe and get these games on Game Pass. Done. Doing it. I'm there. PC gamers are the ultimate value seekers. And I think the PC gaming market is ripe for Game Pass subscription. Think about it. Why did Steam blow up initially? Why did Steam blow up? Why did Steam become a big deal? Not because it was convenient to download your games. That was a part of it. But it blew up because they had the cheapest deals in games during their sales ever. We'd never seen deals like this before, and that's what got people into Steam. You could buy games for $3, for $4, for $5. That had never been done before. Excuse me. That was unheard of, and that's why everybody bought into Steam and why Steam became such a powerhouse. Now, keep in mind, Steam is still just a small percentage of gaming, but it's been wildly successful for Valve. If that's a value and that's how you got people into Steam, don't you think that Game Pass could do that as well with their value? Absolutely, 100%. So, once again, I disagree that we're limited here. We're just getting started, and we're just getting started with that content. Let's go to the third concern here. And the third concern is around cloud-based gaming. So let's talk about this. Paul Tassi says, then we have Microsoft's idea of game streaming, technology that is still a very small part of the market. At one time, consoles were a very small part of the market. At one time, PC gaming was a very small part of the market. At one time, online gaming was a very small part of the market. So like, if it stays a very small part of the market, then it's a valid concern. But anytime a new technology comes along, at some point, every technology you're using right now, at one point, you're watching this video on YouTube. At one point, YouTube was a very small part of the market. Now it's the number two search engine on the planet. It's the number one video service on the planet. But at one time, it was a very small part of the market. So game streaming technology, that's still a very small part of the market, as Microsoft admitted in a recent court case. Yeah, but that's not a point. And simply a worse way to play games than flat downloads. Don't necessarily disagree with that. However, he says, even if the tech is improving. Okay, let me finish this sentence, then I'll give you my points. But again, tech issues aside, and there are issues, I don't understand how big a group can possibly be that are interested in the vast library of mainstream Xbox games, but they simply don't want to buy an Xbox as the only barrier to become a core gamer. Again, you're targeting, think about this in terms of cell phone gamers, mobile gamers, who, by the way, outnumber console gamers and PC gamers by a wide margin, by a huge margin. Excuse me. What are these gamers primarily? Some of them are hardcore. There are hardcore mobile game players, absolutely. Most of them are casual. That's who you're targeting here. You're opening up your audience to not just hardcore users who would buy a console. You're opening up to everybody to both have those hardcore users who would buy a console or a hardcore gaming PC rig, or to someone who just wants to stream it from their TV, who wants to check out the odd game, who wants the convenience and accessibility that has to offer. He says, again, streaming feels like a quality of life feature for a current Xbox owner and subscriber, but anyways, with the Fire TV stick, you play games. You play Game Pass games on another TV in the house, or you take it on vacation. That's true. That's what I'm going to do. No, that's what you do if you're a hardcore console gamer. Yeah, that's how you're going to utilize this for sure. But it still doesn't take away from the fact that it opens you up to 200 million potential customers who perhaps are more casual gamers or who don't want to spend $400 on a console. Then they're out there. Again, think of it in terms of mobile gaming. Now, let's address Game Pass, or game streaming rather. Game streaming is here. I used to say just a week ago, I would say, or 2 weeks ago, I would say we're 90% of the way there. No, I think we're 100% of the way there. Why? Because 2 weeks ago, I had not tried GeForce Now. Have you tried GeForce Now? Let me tell you, GeForce Now is 99.9% of the way there. Been testing it all week. My brother has a gaming rig. My brother has a MacBook. We've been putting it on the MacBook, GeForce Now. So GeForce Now is NVIDIA's streaming platform that rumor is Xbox is partnering with them here. And if they do, I think it speeds up Xbox Game Pass by 10 years. That's how big GeForce Now is. GeForce Now, whatever they're doing, you basically get a 4080 graphics card on the back end for subscribing to their service. You have to own the game. Not every game is available. Excuse me. And I think that is actually the key on why they succeed, because they go in and tweak the games and tailor them to stream. You can play those games directly to your PC or laptop or gaming device, and you can play them on ultimate. You can play them on high, depending on your internet speed. And we were doing that, and guess what? It's the first time I have played a game streaming service where there is zero noticeable lag. Zero. It's like having the game right there on your computer. I went and checked it out after the news dropped about the GeForce Now partnership, potential partnership, the rumors that the partnership is coming. I said, what is this? I've heard about it. I've heard people talk about it. I've never checked it out myself. After checking it out, we're here. We're here with streaming. So absolutely. Do I think the Amazon Fire TV Stick could happen? Could be a big success for Xbox? 100%. Do I think that streaming is the future? Yeah. Yes, I do. If you don't, go play GeForce Now. Hell, play Game Pass even. Game Pass is there for 90% of the experiences out there. GeForce Now is there for 100% of the experiences that are out there. I was absolutely blown away with it. So there are my opinions. There are my thoughts, my points, my counterpoints to the naysayers. It's not that their concerns, let me repeat this. It's not that their concerns are not valid. I think that it's their job to have these concerns. It's Microsoft's job, it's Xbox's job to prove them wrong. That's why they make the big bucks. That's why they're a $1 trillion company, because they take these chances and they see things that the rest of us don't see, and they say, okay, this is where technology is going to be. We're going to be the first ones there. We're going to be the first one in the pool here, and everybody's going to have to come to us. And I think that's what's happening here with Game Pass. I would love to know what you guys think, though. What did I get right? What did I get wrong? What did I leave out? Do you think Game Pass is the future? Do you think this Amazon Fire TV Stick is a way to onboard new consumers? Do you think that the Game Pass market is saturated? Or do you think that we have potential to get to 100 million, 200 million Game Pass subscribers, similar to a Netflix, for instance? I do. I think that's the future, and I think it's inevitable. I think it's just a matter of time. If you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe to this channel. My name is X1 the Gamer. We do videos like this all the time, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.